I'm just saying it loud and proud. I hate the CBC. Unbelievable. Justin Trudeau says citizens only need 2 media outlets as sources for all information. The CBC and CTV, I think those are his most loyal followers, cult members. All other sources are conspiracy theories meant to keep you from agreeing with his 2 sources. That's why he's so unpopular. It's those pesky people reporting truth.
There is out there a deliberate undermining of mainstream media. There are the conspiracy theorists, there are the social media drivers who are trying to do everything they can to keep people in their little filter bubbles, to prevent people from actually agreeing on a common set of facts, the way, the CBC and CTV, when they were our only sources of news, used to and global used to project across the country at least a common understanding of things.
A common understanding of things, and that's what he really longs for, isn't it? A common understanding of things. Common understanding of what? Well, obviously, things that he wants you to believe. That's it. Now, the other thing, too, about back when there was less media is that, the CBC was always left-leaning. Of course, media generally is, not all, of course, but generally speaking, it is. There's always going to be more left-leaning outlets than conservative, and there's way more. But CBC was always left-leaning, but it wasn't in a cult. It wasn't supportive, like slavishly supportive of far-left extremism. I consider sex changes for children to be far-left extremism. So I just don't see how that's not. So it was a different landscape then anyway. The world wasn't as crazy back then. Like, you could trust the news more at that point. I'm not saying it was perfect by any means, or even great, but it wasn't like it is today. The CBC has not always been the woke, lunatic propaganda outlet that it is right now. Yeah, sure, it always leaned left, but it wasn't actually crazy. It wasn't actually insane. So Trudeau obviously takes no responsibility for his endless scandals. I can't remember them all. I mean, it's like there's been dozens of them. But he takes no responsibility for any of that, for his failed policies, which is why he's so deeply unpopular. He is more unpopular right now with all of the pro-Trudeau propaganda that we see in the media constantly. He's less popular now than Donald Trump is in Canada with all of the anti-Trump propaganda that is constantly spewing out from the media. Even the conservative media in Canada doesn't have a kind word for him. He's less popular than Trump with all of that. That really tells you something. But he blames it on not having complete and utter control over the media, right? That's the problem. It's not that he's ruined Canada. It's not that. It's not that there are generational problems that he's caused that aren't going to be solved in 5 years. Right? It's going to take a long time to try and bring Canada back again. Probably changed in ways that will never be fixed. That's what a ideologue or whatever the hell Trudeau is. Does he have any? When he says that Canada has no core identity, I believe that he is projecting. I think he doesn't have a core identity. I think he's just whatever. He just kind of picked the woke progressive thing out of convenience, perhaps. Maybe he really believes in it, but I think we know, had he been in Germany in like 1933, I think we know what uniform he'd be wearing, don't we? But of course, he blames all of his problems on that pesky independent media that he hates. He despises independent media. He won't even speak to Rebel News journalists. He's supposed to. They're allowed to ask him questions. He won't even speak to them. He despises them so much. So yeah, I'm sure he'd like to go back to two utterly loyal outlets again.